Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Sydney, and today we're going to be talking about what is the learning phase, what is limited learning, and 5 ways that you can actually get out of limited learning, okay? And just for reference, if you guys want to jump to a certain section that would be more relevant to your situation, you can always go to the description of this video and it will jump you to that specific section that is important for you to learn at that moment, okay? So we're going to be going over a couple things today. First, what is the learning phase? What are things that would make my ad set and re-enter the learning phase or just enter the learning phase? What are the best practices to avoid limited learning? What is limited learning and why you would enter limited learning? And then also 5 ways to actually exit limited learning. All right, so there's a lot of things to cover today, so stick with me. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel and also press that little bell button so you know when we have a new video coming out. We do it each week, usually on Fridays, so stay tuned. Okay, so what is the learning phase? Each time your ad is shown, the Facebook ads delivery system learns more about the best people and the places to show your ad. The more your ad is shown, the better the delivery system becomes at optimizing the ad's performance. Okay, so the learning phase is basically the time period when that delivery system still has a lot to learn about any given ad set. So it's important to note that the learning phase and limited learning, all this pertains to the ad set level. So if your ads are in limited learning or in the learning phase, it's because your entire ad set is. Okay. Now in the learning phase, this is where you'll see your ads performance is usually less stable, and usually the cost per action is going to be worse than what it typically would be if it was not in the learning phase. Okay. Now you only enter the learning phase when you either create a new ad or create a new ad set, or you make a significant edit to an already existing one. What you'll see is that the learning appears in the ad set when it's in the learning phase. And technically, the delivery system never stops learning about the best way to deliver your ads, but the ad will exit the learning phase as soon as performance stabilizes. And this is usually after about 50 optimization events. Let's say, for example, you're optimizing for conversions. It'd be 50 conversions, and it would be in the last 7 days or since the last significant edit. Okay, really important to note that you need 50 optimization events to happen, whatever you're optimizing for, in 7 days. Now, basically any edit to your ad set can affect the delivery in some way, shape, or form, but some edits are considered more significant than others and are more likely to re-enter your ad set into the learning phase. Okay, so these things can be any large changes to the targeting, any changes to your ad creative. Let's say, for example, you have 6 or 7 ads running and you make changes to only one ad. That might not make it re-enter the learning phase, but if you're making a significant edit to a large portion of your ads running, then it'll probably go back into the learning phase. Okay. Any change to your optimization events. So if you switch from purchases to add to carts, that is a pretty significant edit because it has to change how it's delivering your ad. Okay. Another one is pausing your ad set for 7 days or longer. So when you take your ad set off of pause, it will re-enter the learning phase once it's unpaused. Okay. And finally, changing your entire bid strategy. So those are a couple things that can make your ad set go into the learning phase. So like I said, during that learning phase, ad sets are usually less stable and they usually have a higher cost per action, whatever that action is. So there is a few best practices when it comes to your ad sets being in the learning phase. So once you launch it and it's in that learning phase, let's talk about the best practices. The first is wait to edit your ad set until it's out of the learning phase. So like I said, during that learning phase, performance is usually less stable. Your results are pretty wonky. And it's not always indicative of your future performance of that ad set, okay? So by editing an ad, the ad set or the entire campaign during that learning phase, you can actually reset the learning and eventually it will delay the delivery system's ability to optimize for that given ad. So if it's day 4 and your ads are not really performing well, they're not getting the reach that you thought, and you're thinking about making a change to your ads or ad sets, wait at least 7 days. Now, after the 7 days, when it'll go into learning limited, it still hasn't gotten those 50 conversions, but just wait. Just wait it out. Be patient. The second is to avoid having too many ads. When you create too many ads or ad sets even, the delivery system has less budget to allocate to each ad and ad set and learn what is going to work for that. So although it's really important to test as advertisers and see which format works better or what is going to perform the best, try to limit the number of active ads you have per ad set to 6 or less, okay? What you can do is either one, combine the ad sets into one. So instead of having 4 different ad sets, you're combining them into 2 ad sets and maybe making it a broader audience, or only having the 2 run at once. If you also have 10 creatives that you want to try out, use dynamic creative. Or if you have multiple text variations to try out, use Facebook's multiple text variation option so that it doesn't have to allocate that budget to different ad sets and ads. It's all part of the same one, and then it can test from there. And the third is to set realistic budgets, okay? If you have a very small budget or a very big budget, Facebook's delivery system has an inaccurate indicator of the people that the delivery system should actually optimize for. So set a budget that is large enough to get at least 50 total optimization events and avoid changing that budget too frequently. And that can obviously make it re-enter the learning phase. So a budget that you could allocate to it is look at your past campaigns and see what that cost per conversion or what that cost per action was and times that by 50, okay? And that could be your budget for that 1 week. In the beginning, you might want to allocate a bigger budget than what you would for the rest of the campaign, so you can enter that learning phase and give it enough budget to actually test things out. But always make sure that you have enough budget for 50 optimization events to occur. But overall, the learning phase is something that every single ad set will enter after making a new ad or making a significant edit. And it's actually needed to help that delivery system best optimize your ads, so you shouldn't try avoiding the learning phase completely. But what happens is that if it still doesn't get those 50 optimizations in that 7-day period, since you either created the new ad set or made a significant edit, the delivery column that once said learning will actually change to learning limited, necessarily because you did something wrong. Facebook is just telling you that your budget isn't being spent effectively because the ad delivery system can't optimize its performance with your current setup that you have right now. And basically what it means is that when it says limited learning, it's telling you that it's unlikely that you're actually going to receive those 50 optimization events. And generally, it's going to enter this learning phase, and you can actually hover over the learning limited button, the little information button. Some of the reasons that it could enter the learning limited is because of small audience sizes, low budgets, low bid or cost control, high auction overlap, so in a competitive market, not very many optimization events, or other issues like, running too many ads at the same time or having just too many ad sets for your budget. So obviously, being in learning limited is not the most ideal situation. Like I said, the results are pretty wonky. You can't really trust that those are the results that you're going to be getting the entire time. So how do you get out of this learning phase? Well, there's actually 5 different ways that you can get out of it. So the first one is that you can combine your ad sets and your campaigns. Combining your ad sets and your campaigns will help you get the results that you need faster, which means you'll be able to see stable results sooner. So if you have 4 ad sets, for example, choose one that's performing the best out of the 4 that you have and merge all the ads into that one ad set. Obviously, you need to adjust your targeting if those different ad sets are based on different sort of audiences, but combine them into one ad set or 2 ad sets depending on your budget and combine those ads together so that Facebook doesn't have to disperse that budget across 4 different ad sets and 16 different ads. There's just one with 8 ads. Okay. The second is to expand your audience. Now, the larger your audience, the more opportunities that people are going to actually complete the optimization event that you've set for. So always make sure that your ad set has at least 1 million people in it. Okay. The third is to actually raise your budget. So like I said, you need to have a big enough budget to get at least 50 optimization events. And if it doesn't have that budget for it, then there's no way that it can actually exit that learning phase. Even for a traffic campaign, this is still relevant, that you need to have enough budget for you to actually get those optimization events. And you can edit your budget at the campaign level. So the fourth is to raise your bid or cost control. If your bid or cost control is too low to receive those 50 optimization events, the ad set is unlikely to actually exit that learning phase. And this brings me back to my last point. Either remove the bid cost cap or allow more leeway for that CPA to actually happen, okay? And finally, the last one is to actually change your optimization event. Now, obviously, these are all going to be significant edits, but this one can actually help you get out of the learning phase much quicker than the other ones, is what I found. Okay, so choose an optimization event that occurs more frequently. So if you see on your breakdown that you're actually getting enough add to carts throughout the week than you are actual purchases or conversions, change your optimization event to add to carts rather than purchases until it exits the learning limited phase. So essentially what you would do is you go to the ad set level, you would choose a pixel event that you're optimizing for. In most cases, if you're optimizing for a conversion, it is for purchases, but you can change it from purchases to add to carts, and this will change your optimization event. Now, once you get those 50 conversions, your results are a little bit more stable, although it will be add to carts or even landing page views, depending on what you're getting more of. Your results will obviously be different than what you would for a conversion, but it allows Facebook to get out of that limited learning phase so that you can finally make some changes, and it will be significant edits that you're going to be making to it once it actually exits it and then re-enter the learning phase, but that learning phase will be much shorter because it already is getting more stable and it has more results. Those are 5 ways that you can exit that limited learning phase. Now, obviously, all of these edits here that you're going to make to your ad set or your campaign or your ads even are going to be significant edits. So obviously you'll have to wait 7 days from that last significant edit for you to analyze it again and decide what is working and what's not. So take a look at those 5 that I just mentioned, figure out which one would work for your situation, because obviously if you have a big enough budget, then for those 50 optimization events to happen, then that's not the issue. Okay, if you're only optimizing for add to carts right now and you're still not getting enough of those, then that is not the optimization event that you need to change. So take a look at the 5 that I mentioned, figure out which one works for you and that you think is going to actually get you out of that limited learning phase, and then try to implement it and see what happens. So I hope this video helped out. We went over the learning phase, why it enters learning phase, what is limited learning, why it enters limited learning, and also how to exit limited learning. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends if you want to, but I found these changes and knowing kind of what to do actually helped me out a lot when we experienced this with our own clients. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.